Millions of people search for these feelings every single day. Some spend hours trying to experience it. Others have never felt it once. Science still can't fully explain why. Yet this mysterious sensation may have existed for thousands of years. Long before YouTube, long before television, long before electricity. The strange part, humanity didn't give it a name until 2010. So, how did a feeling that may have accompanied humans for centuries remain a mystery for so long? But before we can explain these mysterious feelings, we first have to understand why humanity ignored it for so long. Today, we call it ASMR. Imagine this. You are getting a haircut. The room is quiet. The scissors move slowly. The barber speaks softly. Then, a warm, tingling sensation starts at the back of your head. It slowly travels down your neck. It feels peaceful, comforting, almost impossible to describe. Now, imagine trying to explain that feeling. 300 years ago, you couldn't Google it. You couldn't ask strangers online. You probably assumed it only happened to you. And that's exactly what millions of people believed. For most of human history, this feeling had no name. Not because it was rare, but because no one realized other people experienced it too. If this feeling wasn't invented by the internet, where did it come from? The answer may begin much earlier than you think. Look at our closest relatives, chimpanzees, gorillas, bonobos. They spend hours gently grooming each other. Not because they are dirty, because grooming builds trust. It reduces stress. It strengthens social bonds. Humans evolved from ancestors with many of these same social behaviors. We don't groom each other the same way anymore, but we still respond to gentle personal attention. A parent brushing a child's hair, a doctor carefully examining a patient, a teacher quietly helps a student. Interestingly, these are some of the most common situations people today associate with ASMR. Is that proof humans experienced ASMR thousands of years ago? No, history can't tell us that. But it does suggest something fascinating. The kinds of interactions that trigger ASMR today have existed for a very long time, which means the feeling itself may be much older than the internet, and that raises an even bigger question. If people had been experiencing this for generations, why didn't anyone give it a name? That answer wouldn't arrive until the internet connected millions of strangers. For thousands of years, people experienced the same strange sensation. But because it had no name, it had no history, then came the internet. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, people started asking an unusual question on online forums. Does anyone else get a weird tingling feeling when someone whispers? Others replied, I thought I was the only one. Then came more stories. Haircuts, eye exams, teachers explaining lessons, someone slowly turning the pages of a book. People from different countries described almost the exact same experience. For the first time in history, millions realized they weren't alone. The mystery was real. They just didn't know what to call it. While those discussions were happening online, millions were already experiencing the feeling without realizing it. One of them was watching a painter. His name was Bob Ross. Every episode looked simple. A blank canvas, a soft voice, gentle brush strokes. Let's put a happy little tree right here. Bob Ross wasn't trying to create ASMR. The term didn't even exist. He was simply teaching people how to paint. But years later, as online communities grow, one name appeared again and again: Bob Ross. His calm voice and slow movements had become one of the most recognizable ASMR experiences in the world. Years before anyone called it ASMR, Bob Ross died in 1995. 15 years before the world even had the word ASMR. Yet today, millions consider him one of its greatest creators. Thousands of people were discussing the same mysterious feeling, but every conversation had the same problem. There was still no name for it. That changed when an American woman named Jennifer Allen suggested a new term. She wasn't a scientist, she wasn't a doctor, she was simply someone trying to give an unnamed experience a neutral name: autonomous sensory meridian response, or simply ASMR. The name wasn't meant to explain the science. It was simply a neutral way to describe the experience. Within months, the term spread across forums, then YouTube, then the world. A mystery that had existed for generations finally had a name, but naming it didn't explain it. In fact, the biggest questions was only beginning. Why do some people feel ASMR while others never experience it at all? Giving the feeling a name was only the beginning. Scientists finally had something they could study. Over the last decade, researchers have scanned the brains of people who experience ASMR. They found something interesting. People who experience ASMR often show different activity in brain networks linked to emotion, attention, and social connection. Some researchers believe it's connected to gentle personal care. Others think it's part of the brain's relaxation response. But here's the truth: no one knows for sure. There's still no single explanation. And perhaps that's what makes ASMR so fascinating. Today, ASMR is watched by hundreds of millions of people around the world. What started as a few questions on internet forums has become one of YouTube's biggest communities. Yet the feeling itself may be much older than YouTube, older than television, possibly as old as human connection itself. Not because history proves it, but because the same quiet moments, whispers, careful attention, gentle sounds have existed for thousands of years. History remembers great inventions: fire, the wheel, writing, the internet. But sometimes history doesn't create something new. Sometimes it simply gives a name to something that was already there. ASMR may be one of those stories, a feeling millions of people shared without ever realizing it, until one question on the internet changed everything. And even today, after all the research, one mystery remains. Why do some people feel it while others never will? Humanity didn't invent this feeling. We only discovered that millions of us had been quietly sharing it all along. Sometimes history isn't about creating something new. Sometimes it's about finally noticing what was always there. Until then, the story of ASMR is still being written. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden origins behind everyday things, subscribe to Origin Archives, because every story has a beginning.